Picture this. You're working hard, paying your taxes, and doing everything by the book. Meanwhile, the elite, the top 1%, are living luxuriously and somehow paying a fraction of the taxes you do. How is that even possible? Is the system rigged against you? Are the rich playing by different rules? Today, we're diving deep into the secret hacks the top 1% use to pay less tax and uncovering how the elite and governments keep people in debt and poor. Hey there, welcome to our channel. If you've ever felt like the tax system is unfair and wondered why the rich seem to get away with paying so little, you're in the right place. We're about to pull back the curtain on some of the most closely guarded secrets of the wealthy. These aren't just tips and tricks, these are strategies that keep the elite at the top while the rest of us struggle to get by. Imagine a world where you keep more of your hard-earned money, just like the wealthy do. Sounds impossible? Well, it's not. The truth is, the elite use specific strategies to reduce their tax burden to almost nothing. And today, we're going to reveal exactly how they do it. But before we get into those secrets, let's address the burning questions you might have. Why does it feel like the system is rigged? What are the secret strategies the elite use? Can I use these strategies too? Stay with us as we unravel the truth about tax avoidance. We'll share real-life examples of how the wealthy navigate the tax system, and by the end of this video, you'll have a glimpse into their world. But it doesn't stop there. We'll also show you practical steps you can take to start implementing these strategies in your own life. So, if you're ready to discover the secrets that the top 1% don't want you to know, keep watching. You won't want to miss a second of this eye-opening journey. Let's dive in. But before we start, make sure you've subscribed to our channel. All right, let's get into it. Why does it feel like the system is rigged? Well, it's because, in many ways, it is. The tax laws are structured in such a way that those with the right knowledge and resources can exploit them to their advantage. Think of it like a game of Monopoly. If you know all the tricks, you can buy up all the best properties and charge everyone else through the nose just to stay in the game. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Back in the day, tax policies were designed to ensure that everyone paid their fair share. But over time, these laws have been tweaked and twisted to benefit those at the top. For example, during the 1950s, the highest marginal tax rate in the US was a whopping 91%. Today, it's less than half of that. And guess what? The rich had a hand in making those changes. Here's a stat that will make your blood boil. The top 1% of earners pay an effective tax rate that's significantly lower than that of the average worker. According to a study by the IRS, the top 0.1% pay about 20% in federal taxes, while the average American pays around 24%. How is that even possible? It's all about the loopholes, baby. Let's talk about Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He famously pointed out that he pays a lower tax rate than his secretary. How? Because most of his income comes from investments, which are taxed at a lower rate than regular income. We'll dive deeper into that later, but for now, just know that the system is designed to benefit those who know how to play the game. Now, let's get into the juicy stuff, the secret strategies that the elite use to keep their tax bills low. Okay, first up, let's talk about offshore accounts. You've probably heard about these in movies or TV shows, but they are very real. Rich folks and big corporations stash their money in countries with low or no taxes, places like the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and Switzerland. This practice, known as tax havens, helps them avoid paying taxes on their earnings. Remember the Panama Papers leak? It revealed how hundreds of politicians, celebrities, and business leaders were using offshore accounts to hide their wealth. It was a huge scandal, but it showed just how widespread this practice is. Next, let's talk about trusts and shell companies. These are a bit more complex, but stick with me. Trusts are legal entities that hold assets for beneficiaries, often family members. By putting their money in a trust, the rich can reduce their taxable income and protect their wealth from hefty estate taxes. A famous example is the Walton family, the heirs to the Walmart fortune. They use a combination of trusts and shell companies to pass on their wealth without paying significant taxes. It's like having a financial invisibility cloak. Now, here's a big one: capital gains. Unlike regular income, which is taxed at rates up to 37%, capital gains profits from selling investments like stocks or property are taxed at a much lower rate, usually around 15 to 20%. So if you're rich, you make sure most of your income comes from investments rather than a regular paycheck. This is how billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk pay such low tax rates. They don't take massive salaries instead. They hold on to their stock and only sell when they need cash, taking advantage of the lower tax rates on capital gains. And let's not forget about the myriad of legal loopholes and deductions. From charitable donations to business expenses, the wealthy have a playbook full of ways to reduce their taxable income. Take the Trump tax returns. Whether you love him or hate him, his tax strategies are a masterclass in using loopholes. By declaring huge losses, he was able to avoid paying taxes for years. It's all legal, but it's a game most of us don't even know how to play. So what does all this mean for you and me? Well, it means that the rest of us end up paying more. When the wealthy and corporations dodge taxes, the government has to somehow make up the difference. And guess who they turn to? That's right, the middle and lower classes. This increased burden means higher taxes for the average worker and less funding for essential services like schools, healthcare, and infrastructure. It's like being asked to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon while the rich get to use a fire hose. Here's a sobering stat. In the US, the top 1% own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. And a significant part of that is due to their ability to minimize their tax liabilities. The wealth gap is widening, and it's directly tied to these tax strategies. All right, you might be thinking, can I use these strategies too? The short answer is yes, to some extent. While you might not have millions to stash in offshore accounts, there are still steps you can take to reduce your tax burden legally. First off, it's crucial to know what's legal and what's not. Tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance using legal methods to reduce your tax bill is not only legal but smart. Here are some practical tips you can use. Number 1, invest wisely. Consider shifting some of your income to investments. Even if you start small, the benefits of capital gains tax rates can add up. Number 2, maximize deductions. Take advantage of every deduction and credit available to you. This includes things like retirement contributions, education expenses, and medical costs. Number 3, consult a professional. If you're serious about lowering your tax bill, consider consulting with a tax professional. They can help you navigate the complex tax code and find strategies that work for you. I think long-term, tax planning isn't just about this year, it's about setting yourself up for success in the future. The earlier you start, the more you can save. To really drive this home, let's look at some real-life examples and case studies of how billionaires minimize their taxes, like Jeff Bezos. Bezos pays himself a modest salary and relies on stock options and capital gains for his wealth. By not selling his Amazon stock, he avoids hefty income taxes. Elon Musk. And Musk uses a similar strategy with Tesla stock. Additionally, he borrows money using his stock as collateral, allowing him to live lavishly without incurring taxable income. Now, let's compare this with a typical middle-class family. They earn most of their income through salaries, which are taxed at higher rates. They might have some deductions, but nothing compared to the arsenal the rich have at their disposal. Now, let's touch on the ethical side of things. Is it fair for the rich to pay so little in taxes while the rest of us struggle? There's a big debate about whether it's ethical for the wealthy to exploit these loopholes. Some argue that it's just smart financial planning, while others see it as a moral failing. Many people feel that the tax system needs to be reformed to ensure that everyone pays their fair share. Experts suggest closing loopholes and increasing transparency. There's a growing movement towards changing tax policies to make them more equitable. This could mean higher taxes on capital gains or stricter regulations on offshore accounts. So there you have it, the secret hacks the top 1% use to pay less tax and how they impact the rest of us. The system might seem rigged, but now you know the game they're playing. We've covered everything from offshore accounts and trusts to capital gains and legal loopholes. We've seen how these strategies impact average citizens and explored whether you can use any of these tactics yourself. Don't get discouraged. Instead, use this knowledge to your advantage. Take control of your finances, stay informed, and make smart decisions. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. And hey, if you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.